Some disappearances seem to happen in an instant. One moment, someone is living their life as usual, and the next, they are gone without a trace. In the quiet town of Palmyra, Pennsylvania, a 21-year-old woman vanished from her home in the early hours of July 29, 2012. Despite multiple witnesses seeing her just hours before, no one seems to know what happened to Kortne Stouffer. What could have led to her mysterious disappearance? And after more than a decade, could there still be hope for answers? Let's take a deep dive into the baffling case of Kortne Stouffer. Kortne Sierra Stouffer was born on April 24, 1991, and grew up in the small town of Palmyra, Pennsylvania. She was known for her free-spirited personality, love of animals, and artistic nature. At the time of her disappearance, Kortne was living in an apartment with her boyfriend, Bradley Herr, and had dreams of opening her own holistic business. But what started as a normal Saturday night out with friends turned into a mystery that has haunted her family and the local community for over a decade. On the night of July 28, 2012, Kortne had plans to go out with friends. Earlier that evening, Palmyra Borough Police and Lebanon County Adult Probation responded to her apartment, where she lived with her boyfriend, Bradley Herr. Herr, who was on house arrest and probation, was taken into custody for violating his probation due to reports of underage drinking at their apartment. Kortne, who was 21, was the only person legally allowed to be drinking and remained at the apartment after authorities left. Later that evening, around 10:07 p.m., Kortne received text messages from Cody Pruitt and Milton Rodriguez, inviting her to meet them at the gas station bar in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. After meeting up, the group, including another couple, headed to the 2nd Street area of Harrisburg to continue their night out. Around 1:50 a.m., Kortne was involved in a verbal altercation with the girlfriend of Arvard Brown at the hardware bar in Harrisburg. Security asked Kortne to leave, briefly separating her from her group. They later reunited and stopped at a nearby pizza shop before heading back to the car. By 2:45 a.m., the group returned to the Palmyra area. Pruitt, acting as the designated driver, dropped off the couple at North Railroad Street and took Rodriguez to his residence on West Cherry Street. Kortne then asked Pruitt to drive her back to the gas station bar in Hummelstown so she could retrieve her car. He did, then followed her back to her apartment in Palmyra. Sadly, during that short drive home, Kortne had no idea that the events of the next 90 minutes would change her life forever. At approximately 3 a.m., Kortne and Pruitt arrived at her residence. Almost immediately, an argument broke out between Kortne and her neighbors, Janice Riemenschneider, Richard Sheets, and Todd Saksek. She accused them of reporting the earlier underage drinking party to the police. At 3:12 a.m., Richard Sheets called Palmyra police to report that Kortne was causing a disturbance and making threats toward him. While he was on the phone, he reported that she had gone into her apartment, along with a male companion who was also allegedly causing problems. By 3:15 a.m., police arrived at the scene and spoke with all parties involved. Kortne claimed that the neighbors had confronted her while she was walking her dog, leading to the argument. The neighbors, on the other hand, stated that Kortne had been yelling at them and even kicked Todd Saksek in the leg. The officers noted that everyone appeared to be under the influence of alcohol and ordered them all to return to their homes. North Londonderry police arrived as backup at 3:22 a.m., and the scene was officially cleared by 3:49 a.m. when officers believed the disturbance had settled. However, at 4:11 a.m., Saksek called the police again, complaining that Kortne was screaming through the walls, stomping on the floor and slamming doors. When officers arrived at 4:31 a.m., they found the residence quiet, but when they knocked on the patio door, they heard dogs barking inside. They attempted to make contact, but no one answered. After checking around the premises and seeing no signs of distress, the police left at 4:36 a.m. Cody Pruitt claims he slept inside the residence, and when he awoke at 7:45 a.m., Kortne was not there, though he did not go through each room looking for her. He drives to the Sheetz gas station and makes a purchase which is on video. Pruitt texts Kortne, "Hey, what happened to you?" He goes to Rodriguez's house to return the car and to be driven to his residence in the Hummelstown area. He texts Kortne again at 12:36 p.m. and at 1:58 p.m. without a response. By 2:42 p.m. the next day, Kortne's father, Scott Stouffer, reported her missing.
Like any father, nothing can happen fast enough when you lose someone so close to you. And I was a little frustrated. I feel somebody has information that will help us find Kortne. I feel that she was taken. None of this is characteristic of our Kortne, to just up and walk away.
Police arrived and found no signs of forced entry or a struggle. Kortne's purse, cigarettes, money and phone were all next to her bed. Her shoes and keys were left on the stair landing, right where she usually placed them. Her dog was still inside the apartment, and her car was parked outside with the windows down. Kortne had simply vanished, with no explanation. Days turned into weeks, and law enforcement launched an extensive search for Kortne.
Where is Kortne Stouffer? The missing woman mystery is now getting national attention.
What happened to Kortne Stouffer? That is the question a Lebanon County community has been asking.
Family, friends, law enforcement, and several others combing through parts of Palmyra.
On August 8th, police conducted a canine search within a 2-mile radius of her home. The following day, forensic teams searched her apartment and the homes of nearby neighbors. But despite these efforts, no trace of Kortne was ever found. 13 years later, Kortne Stouffer's disappearance remains unsolved. Her family continues to seek answers, hoping someone will come forward with the missing piece of the puzzle. Over the years, investigators have explored multiple theories. Did Kortne leave on her own? Was she harmed by someone in her circle, or did an unknown predator take advantage of the chaos that night? Let's examine these theories and suspects a little closer. Neighbors Janice Riemenschneider, Richard Sheetz, and Todd Saksek were involved in heated disputes with Kortne that night. Could tensions have escalated into something more sinister? Janice and Richard admittedly called the police on Kortne at 3 a.m. However, by all accounts, the real drama took place between Kortne and Todd. Kortne allegedly kicked Todd and also had previous conflicts with him as well. Kortne told her mother that Todd was creepy and accused him of videotaping her. After Kortne disappeared, Richard and Janice were said to be cooperative with police throughout, while Todd ended up lawyering up and was far less cooperative. However, all of the neighbors' residences were searched, and police found no evidence at all linking any of them to Kortne's disappearance. They were all ruled out as suspects. Janice unfortunately passed away in 2022, while Todd's whereabouts are currently unknown. Others speculate that Kortne left her apartment voluntarily, but encountered foul play shortly after. But if she really did leave voluntarily, why would she leave her keys and cell phone behind? Police have not been forthcoming about whether Kortne received any texts or calls that would cause her to leave the apartment voluntarily between 4 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. However, if she did, it would seem like a major clue that could have brought this case to an end years ago. Assuming Kortne didn't receive any calls or texts that made her go outside, did she go out on her own? Possibly to retrieve something from her car like cigarettes, a lighter, or something else. If this is the case, she could have been met by trouble outside. Multiple witnesses saw her fighting with Arvad Brown and his girlfriend earlier that night. After her disappearance, rumors swirled that this fight was either over a debt owed or Kortne's suspicion that Arvad had broken into her apartment several weeks earlier. Police have yet to name him a suspect. However, 3 months after Kortne's disappearance, Arvad Brown and associates committed a home invasion robbery at gunpoint that ended up getting him convicted and sentenced to 5 to 10 years in state prison beginning in 2016. Is it possible that Arvad Brown and others happened to run into Kortne that night as she was outside? To be clear, there is no evidence that Arvad was at Kortne's house that night. But the streets still whisper, even if the police in charge haven't listened so far. Some have scrutinized Cody Pruitt, the last known person to see her. His timeline raises questions. Why didn't he thoroughly check the apartment? Why did he leave without making more effort to find her? Was he involved? Or at the very least, does he know more about Kortne's disappearance than he has admitted? Police obtained a warrant allowing them to search property belonging to both Milton Rodriguez and Cody Pruitt. This included Rodriguez's 2004 Acura. Rodriguez's father also allowed police to search his home. Rodriguez's father said police also spoke with his son for 5 days in a row. He said Rodriguez has an alibi and he doesn't think either man is capable of hurting someone. Cody also took a polygraph test and offered DNA to help rule him out as a suspect. The Lebanon County District Attorney seemed to think that was good enough and no longer consider Cody a suspect. But should he be? Is it really possible that Cody knows absolutely nothing about what happened that night? Kortne was reportedly screaming and stomping at 4 a.m. before her neighbor Todd Saksek called police on her for the final time. Are we really supposed to believe that Cody heard none of that? The next day, when Cody left the apartment, he also texted Kortne twice within a 90-minute span. Was he really concerned about her whereabouts, or were these the actions of someone who was trying to misdirect the police? Despite all the red flags in Cody's story, he has maintained his innocence, and police seem to have moved on from him as a suspect. Only Cody knows for sure if he is telling the truth. This leads us to the final theory. Could the police be involved in her disappearance? Another theory that has been raised is whether law enforcement played a role in Kortne's disappearance. Officers responded to her residence 3 times that night, the last at 4:36 a.m. Police said they knocked on Kortne's door and nobody answered. But what if she did? Could she have said or done something that escalated tensions with an officer? If an altercation occurred, is it possible there was a cover-up? While there is no known evidence linking the police to Kortne's disappearance, the fact that they were the last to see her has led to speculation among those who question the official timeline. If she went out to meet police again at 4:36 a.m., it would explain why she didn't take her cell phone and keys with her. Could Kortne have said something to an officer outside that led to something violent occurring? Unfortunately, without any concrete leads, her case continues to remain a tragic mystery. If you have any information, please contact the Palmyra Police Department or the Lebanon County Detective Bureau. No detail is too small. Until justice is served, her case remains a twisted tale of the unknown. Please tell us what you think happened in the comments below. Can Kortne's case still be solved? And for more deep dives into unsolved disappearances, please like and subscribe to Twisted Tales. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and let's bring justice to the missing.